2018 was a pretty awesome year for video games, single-player games particularly, with a lot of big hits this year, and I'm hoping this tradition, or not tradition, but like this flow, or man, what is the word I'm looking for? But like this pattern. Let's go with that pattern. This pattern continues right into 2019. So unlike not doing 2018 best of 2018 like a bunch of other people are doing, I'm deciding to jump right into 2019. I don't think a lot of people have done their 2019 anticipation list just yet, so I want to get ahead of the game and do that already. So there's actually a lot of games I want to talk about. Before we get to the top 10, I want to list off a couple things. I want to do a couple conditions. So I want to talk about some games that are out of the running right away. That would be the Kingdom Hearts 3, unfortunately, and the reason why that is it would already be my #1 most anticipated game, so I feel like I wanted to challenge myself a little bit, get the obvious out of the way. So I'm gonna take that off the list, also because it's right away in January. Like, it's gonna be coming out a couple weeks, not even like 30 days after this video releases. So I feel like, why put a game, especially my #1 game, that's gonna be coming out within like 3 weeks after this video comes out. So I decided to cancel it just for that, just because it's so soon. And unfortunately, because of that standard, I'm also going to be cutting out the Resident Evil 2 remake for pretty much the same exact reason. Well, not the exact same reason, because it would probably be in my top 10 somewhere. I don't know where, but it would probably be there. But I'm going to make it fall under the same condition of Kingdom Hearts, where it's coming out right away. It's coming out even sooner than Kingdom Hearts by like 4 days. Sorry, Resident Evil 2. I'm going to be playing nothing but Kingdom Hearts 3. So I'm going to also eliminate Resident Evil 2 because of the Kingdom Hearts rule, or not rule, but I don't even know what the word is, but like condition of it's coming out so soon in January. So I just feel like I should just take it off the list just for that reason. So we're going to be knocking off Kingdom Hearts 3 and Resident Evil 2 off this list. Also, a couple games that I'm going to just list off real quick. There's been no confirmed or release date, not 2019, not even 2020. So there is a small chance these games might come out in 2019, but because the developers haven't even given a release window of 2019 or 2020, so I'm just gonna list them off real quick. And these are games I'm excited for, and I'm gonna mention them because there is like I said, there's a small chance they might release in 2019, but more than likely 2020. But I'm just gonna list them off anyway. So let's blow through those real quick. So we got Bayonetta 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Doom Eternal, Death Stranding, Ghost of Tsushima, Halo Infinite, Metroid Prime 4, and The Last of Us Part 2. So yeah, most likely games that are going to be in 2020, but just in case one of them releases in like December of 2019, I'm just going to list them off right here, but I'm not going to put them on the list. Some other games that I want to talk about real quick that aren't on the top 10, I guess you can call these the honorable mentions. Days Gone, I'm interested in, but like a lot of people, I'm not really like worn out of the zombie genre. I'm still interested as long as it offers something interesting. But Days Gone so far just has my interest just a little peaked. I mean, just looking at some of the footage where there's just like hundreds of zombies on screen, or like we're talking like Left 4 Dead level of zombies on screen, is really interesting to me, and it's it looks open worldish, so has me interested, but I don't think it cracked the top 10 just yet. Metro Exodus, I'm interested in, but I have yet to play the other two Metro games. They are on my backlog. I have them. I'm waiting to play them. And you're going to hear that a lot in the honorable mentions. I decided to take off all the games, except for one. All the games where I'm interested in these upcoming sequels, but I haven't played the originals. So, following that suit is Gears of War 5, or just Gears 5 as it's being called. It looks really interesting. I don't know why, but something about Gears 5, that trailer interested me more than the past Gears of War games have. So I gotta play through the other Gears games before I can get to Gears of War 5, so that's why I didn't put it on the list. But I have them because of the Xbox Game Pass, so I'm gonna definitely play through those 4 other games, or 5, I guess you have that spin-off Judgment. Ori and the Will of Wisps, I'm interested, but once again, haven't played the original, so I decided to take it off the list. And Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled, I'm interested, but it's a racing game. There's nothing really to be excited too much about it. I mean, I appreciate it for being a full-on remake and being online compatible, so that's gonna be fun and cool. But it's just nothing to get really too excited about, at least in terms of me. And last one, the Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order. Once again, I'm interested. That trailer that makes a Nintendo Switch exclusive took me by real surprise. But I haven't played 1 or 2, and I'm hoping with this 3 coming out on the Switch exclusively means we're going to get Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2 on the Switch in a port, and I would definitely get that. So anyway, so now that we got all of that out of the way, let's move on to the actual top 10 list. So coming at the number 10 spot is going to be Damon Ex Machina, or at least that's how I think it's pronounced. I haven't heard it spoken, I don't believe so. It's a Nintendo Switch exclusive. It looks interesting. It's like big boss battles, big enemies, big swarms of enemies, mech fights. It looks interesting just from the gameplay alone, and the aesthetic of it is actually really interesting too. There's really not a whole lot to say about it, and that's why it's sitting at the number 10 spot. The only reason why it's sitting in the number 10 spot instead of the honorable mentions is the fact that it's a new IP, it's an exclusive, and that's honestly just about it. Not a whole heck of a lot to say because we don't really know a whole lot, and that's also what's kind of interesting about it. It's what's kind of fun about a new IP is you get to learn everything about it. There's only been like 2 trailers, I believe, at like E3 and one of the more recent Nintendo Directs, so it'll be interesting to see what comes of this game, if it's any good or not. That's why I'm going to put it all the way down the number 10 spot. So let's continue on to number 9. So coming in at the number 9 spot is going to be a game called Digimon Survive. Now, I've never been a huge Digimon fan. I like the first couple series of the anime. I never really played any of the games except for maybe like the Rumble Arena Party fighting games. But the Digimon Cyber Sleuth series interested me. I never got around to playing them. But they looked interesting. They seemed to be like an interesting take in the Digimon franchise. And this one seems to be like real interesting, like even more different than the others. Just by looking at what's listed on the Wikipedia page. Player choices influence the direction of the story, including the Digimon's evolution process. Multiple playthroughs can result in different paths and different evolutions. The game will feature multiple endings, and should wrong choices be made, characters will be killed. And it's called a survival tactical role-playing game. So not only do you have this tactical gameplay of it, which seems really interesting, which I kind of got into because of Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, but it's also like a choose-your-own-adventure survival game like Telltale games. So that's really interesting. You get to mix all these things together with Digimon. So that's why it's piqued my interest. So no current release date, but it looks interesting, but because of no release date, and is really nothing a whole lot about it. There's even a chance it might even get delayed to 2020 because it just has a 2019 release. But it just looks interesting. Like, I want to give it a shot just because of how different it is compared to like all other Digimon games. So yeah, let's move on to number 8. And coming in at number 8, we have Babylon's Fall. Now, when I really think about this game, we really should be putting it like lower, like at least lower than Digimon Survive, because at least Digimon Survive has gameplay. But just because of who's making it has me real interested, and that is Platinum Games. And for those who don't know Platinum Games, they made the Bayonetta series, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, the Legend of Korra game, Wonderful 101. So these guys and the Nier Automata, these guys know like really high action, like hack and slash games, and those are some of my favorites kind of genres. So these, just because of who Platinum Games are, and just from the teaser, what it looks to be like knights and magic and all that, just has really piqued my interest. But we have nothing about this game. This honestly could almost go could be in 2020 release, but they are at least aiming for a 2019 release right now. So just gonna hold on, hope that it does come out in 2019. But yeah, just because of who's making it puts it in the number 8 slot for me. Moving on. And going from Knights and Dark Magic, we're going to look at the number 7 spot, Yoshi's Crafted World. So this game just looks like the most perfect, cute, cuddly, laid-back game to just play on the go. That's actually my thing with the Switch, is I don't really play on the go too much. I usually have it docked, and this game looks like the perfect game to take on the go whenever I'm not driving. And maybe even laying in bed and stuff like that. So I just can't believe this game has taken, since pretty much the Switch's announcement. I think they announced the Switch, or maybe like the first E3 after the Switch's announcement, which was a couple of years ago now, like 2-3 years ago, and they're just now releasing this game. It's kind of crazy. So, but it looks so cute and cuddly and laid back, and sometimes you just need a game like that. So yeah, definitely interested in this, and I never actually got to play Yoshi's Woolly World. I'm kind of hoping they kind of like bundle Woolly World port into this, and I think that would be actually kind of cool. But anyway, yeah, so it just looks nice, laid back, and easy, and that's just kind of the game I need sometimes. So yeah, moving on. And continuing on with Nintendo games, we're going to be looking at Luigi's Mansion 3 for my number 6 spot, and there's honestly not a whole lot to say about it. The reason why it's so high up on the list, even though we know nothing about it, is because it's just another Nintendo IP Mario game. It's like, it's going to be some amount of quality. So, but it's nice to get an actual, like, proper Luigi's Mansion sequel, because Dark Moon was kind of like, okay. So, but hopefully it's taking more after the original instead of the third one. So people are saying it's looking like a budget title of some sort, and I do not see that here. It just looks like it's early development, so hopefully it does come out in 2019, but it looks like Nintendo's usually pretty good about stuff like that. So, yeah, just Luigi's Mansion 3, and there's some rumors that it might also have the co-op feature from the Luigi's Mansion re-release on 3DS, and as well as I think Dark Moon had multiplayer features too. So that'd be cool to have like a multiplayer, probably couch co-op Luigi's Mansion game to play through. So yeah, not a whole lot to say because we literally don't know much about it. It was just announced maybe like a month ago. So yeah, Luigi's Mansion 3, let's move on to number 5. We're getting to the top 5 now. And coming in at number 5 is Devil May Cry 5. So you know how I said back in the honorable mentions that I took off all the games where I'm interested in a sequel, but I never played any of the previous games except for one? This is that one. I've never played any of the Devil May Cry games, but I'm actually really want to now because of this. And this game just looks amazingly fun. Like I've said before, I love the hack and slash genre. I don't know how the Devil May Cry series hasn't like slipped past my radar all these years. So I really want to get the Devil May Cry HD trilogy, play through those, play through 4, and then eventually play 5, because 5 just looks like a blast to play. Just so much going on with the guns and the swords and the magic and all those others that it just looks like so much fun. And let me just tell you how much I love the theme song right now, the song Devil Trigger for this. I almost want to play it in this video right now, but I don't think I'm going to. I just want to keep a level of consistency. But yeah, this game is just like hype-inducing. Like, I don't usually use that too often, but like hype-inducing. Like, think of the song, think of all the combat, and I just want... Every day after work, I'm just so tempted to go across the street to my local GameStop and pick up the HD trilogy. But I just have so many other games I need to play. But eventually I'm going to play them, and I'm going to play Devil May Cry 5. The only reason why it's not higher up on my list is just because I feel like I need to put games that, or at least from a series that I've played before, up higher. And yeah, it's just because if I've played the Devil May Cry series earlier, maybe I actually would maybe just be like number 2 or 3 or something like that. But yeah, it's just, this game just looks like so much fun, and I can't wait to play just because I just want to play the whole series right now. So yeah, definitely Devil May Cry 5 is at number 5. So a game I think it's kind of lost in the conversation of some of the better games of 2018, underneath all the Spider-Mans and God of Wars and Detroits and Red Dead Redemption, was Far Cry 5. I really enjoyed Far Cry 5. I couldn't actually get into Far Cry 4 for some whatever reason, I can't remember, but then I got into Far Cry 5 just because I really liked the aesthetic of it, like the location and the villain and all that. So I gave it a shot, and I actually really ended up liking Far Cry 5. So now I really want to go back and play Far Cry 4 and Far Cry 3 now that I got like the feeling of the game better now. But a lot of people said that they preferred Far Cry 3 and Far Cry 4, which is perfectly fine. I know the ending had a lot to be desired. I wasn't a big fan of the ending, but it looks like this ending now is going right into what I'm calling this like a pseudo-sequel. Like, it's not Far Cry 6, but it's like a direct sequel to 5, because all the other like Far Cry games are like their own separate entities, but this one seems to be a direct sequel to number 5 after the explosion of the nuclear bomb, spoiler alert, and all that. So it looks really interesting. I'm happy to go back to this little county. It looks like it might be a little bit bigger than the county now. But it just looks really interesting. Like, it's a weird mix of like post-apocalyptic, but it's just condensed to like this one lush green area. So I'm kind of interested in how they explain that, why it's a nuclear bomb has gone off, but yeah, we're still like a lush green landscape of Montana. Or I don't even know if it's still in the same county, but it looks like it is, because we're still dealing with, at the end of the trailer, you see Joseph Seed, who was the bad guy of Far Cry 5. So this is like really piquing my interest as a big fan of Far Cry 5 that I was. And a lot of people are like against it because of the villains look weird. And like maybe they're just against it because they're like against apocalyptic now, or they just didn't like Far Cry 5. So I don't know. It's getting a lot of hate. It's a lot of unnecessary hate. It looks interesting to me, so I'm actually really interested in Far Cry New Dawn just to see what happened after that ending of Far Cry 5. I think it's actually really interesting of them that they kind of planned this out, it looks like, because they're releasing this game at like almost a year to the date of when Far Cry 5 came out. So they had this like in plan, like they had this whole Far Cry 5 ready, and in the back they were starting on this like pseudo sequel, this like direct sequel before going into Far Cry 6. So I'm really interested. I'm happy to go back and do all this again. Well, maybe not again because it is a new character, new somewhat setting and all that. But yeah, I'm interested, and I'm really interested in Far Cry New Dawn. It's actually probably the biggest surprise excitement for me out of the Game Awards, outside of the Joker for Smash DLC. So yeah, definitely excited for Far Cry New Dawn. So I am in a love-hate, interested, not interested relationship with the number 3 spot being Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. I'm interested because the gameplay looks like a lot of fun, the setting looks like a lot of fun, but I'm disinterested in it because it looks like another Dark Souls-esque game where it's just going to be ridiculously hard, and it's just going to be, I don't know, it looks faster than a Dark Souls game at least, so maybe that will help me be more interested in it, because Dark Souls, any of those Dark Souls-like games, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, all those, it's like they're just so slow and methodical that it just takes me out of it. Maybe that's why I'm so into like Devil May Cry and games like that, because it's so much faster paced. But Sekiro seems to be just in the middle between the high hack and slash games and the slower like Dark Souls, Bloodborne games. So maybe that's why I'm interested in it more. But I'm very weary of it. Like, I'm definitely going to watch a couple different people play and see like how difficult is this game, and how methodical like a Dark Souls game do you have to be, and how much can you just go and hack and slash everybody like a Devil May Cry game. So yeah, this is definitely a very interesting, but because of the gameplay, how it looks, how it just, everything about it just looks like so much fun. That's why I'm putting it in my number 3, because I have like high hopes for this game, and I hope it's something I can be really into and put a lot of time into. But at the same time, it's also like, it gets dragged down a little bit, because like, what if it's just a game that just makes me want to rip my hair out and just want to quit gaming altogether? Because they're just sometimes, there's just those difficult games that you're like, just no, I am not going to put myself through this. It's not worth it. So definitely interesting. Thankfully it comes out really quickly, so it's like I have plenty of time to like look at it, analyze it, watch a bunch of people play it, and just see how does it stack up to all those other S games that seem to resemble it. So I don't know, I'm really interested, but also really scared of this game, and that's why it's piqued my interest so much, and that's why it's sitting at my number 3 spot. For those who don't know, I am a pretty big fighting game fan. I love me a good fighting game, and Mortal Kombat's definitely up there among my favorites. Like, NetherRealm games in general, I think, are some of the better fighting games. I know a lot of people fight me for like Street Fighter and stuff like that, which is totally respectable, but for me, I really love the NetherRealm fighting games of Mortal Kombat and Justice and all that. And just, it's Mortal Kombat 11, so I'm gonna be into it. I'm gonna want to play all of it. I want to play all the characters. I want to perform all the fatalities. I just want to do all of it. And NetherRealm definitely, like, you can fight me that Street Fighter or some other fighting game is better in terms of like the actual gameplay, but you cannot fight me on Mortal Kombat not being the king of story mode fighting games. Like, they always have like the best fighting game stories of all of them. So, and as someone as like me, who is not really that great, can just play a fighting game story mode and just feel awesome doing it. Like, it's gonna be a whole lot of fun, and I love the creativity that goes into the fatalities. Like, they always up themselves somehow, and Mortal Kombat X was like great with the fatalities and the brutality, so I just want to see how they're going to even top that. And I want to know the story because it looks like it involves time travel now, so maybe it's another pseudo reboot of some kind that they seem to love to do that, just to retcon so many things. So I'm just so looking forward to Mortal Kombat 11, and just the fun I have with friends playing online with it. Just every time there's a new NetherRealm fighting game, it's always a good time. So yeah, definitely looking forward to Mortal Kombat 11. So anyone who knows me knows this was coming, is that it's the unannounced Pokemon Generation 8 game coming for the Nintendo Switch, coming this year. Like, we know absolutely nothing about this game. This game actually made me consider not making this video until like late January, February, because Nintendo seems to have this habit, especially with Pokemon, to announce their game in like February, March, something like that, and then the game comes out in like October, November. So, but I decided, you know, you always have to make your top 10 things at the beginning, end of the year. So I decided to say, you know what, screw it. I don't care that we have no name, no title, no even release date. Well, we always know they said late 2018 during the announcement. They announced this game back in 2017, back when they announced Let's Go as well. They said Let's Go was going to be the 2018 game, and then 2019 there's going to be a full-fledged RPG Pokemon game, Generation 8 for the Switch. That's all we know. We'll probably know more by like February, March at the latest. So, but as of right now, it's just untitled Pokemon Generation 8 game for the Switch. It'll be interesting to see if they also do the 2-game thing again, which I'm guessing they're going to because they did it with Let's Go. Like, they're charging $60 for 2 games, which is it was weird enough on the DS games, on the 3DS and Game Boy games, but now we're talking full-fledged $60 console games, 2 of them to be able to get both versions. So it's gonna be crazy. We have no idea. There's currently circulations going around of Pokemon Plus and Minus, which there's a couple of reasons why that's believable, because there is a plus and a minus on the Switch, like on the actual Switch console, so that's a possibility. So, but for right now, let's just call them Pokemon Plus and Minus for simplicity's sake. But yes, it's Pokemon Generation 8. I am a die-hard, long-time Pokemon fan. I will die a Pokemon fan. I will die with the latest Pokemon game in my hands. So, yeah, it's got to be Generation 8. I mean, there is a possibility it could be bunked until 2020, but the fact that they've known about this game for so long, like, that they were so sure about to announce it back in 2017 with absolutely nothing to show, that I'm pretty sure they're going to meet their release date. I don't think they've ever delayed a Pokemon game, to my knowledge. So, it has to be Generation 8. Like, outside of Kingdom Hearts, this is my most anticipated game, even though we have nothing about it. It's just so funny to me that my most anticipated game is something we have nothing on. All we had was just an announcement. So, yeah. It's going to be Generation 8 of Pokemon. The fact that it's also a big deal because it's going over to the Switch now. Like, we're getting our main series Pokemon games on the Switch now, on the main console of Nintendo, because 3DS is kinda on its last breath right now. So, but yeah, those are my top 10 games for 2019. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, especially comment what are your top 10 games of 2019 in anticipation. And if this video takes off a bit, like it actually gets like a decent amount of views, I might do like my top 10 movies anticipation for 2019. So, see you guys in the next video. Bye.